side plank with screwdriver. So we're using a dumbbell in a side plank position to drive rotation through the long axis of the upper arm. So it's a side plank. Most people are going to think it's a drill for their core. Yes, your core is involved, but we want to use this as a drill to drive rotation through your upper shoulder. So when you get set up, you need to kind of gauge your ability to do a side plank. If you're somebody that struggles to hold a side plank for a while, maybe you do a side plank with your knees bent. So that way the point of emphasis is in the shoulder, not necessarily the tissues being limited by fatigue being your trunk. So if I'm in a side plank, I'm going to hold this dumbbell directly above the bottom shoulder, and I want to think about getting as long as I can through my arms, and I'm going to come up into a plank. Now I want all the motion to come through just the shoulder itself and not the entire shoulder joint. What I mean by that is a lot of people will really rotate through their entire shoulder blade, and they'll let their shoulder kind of come up toward their ear and round forward. So when they rotate, instead of having just rotation in the joint like so, they'll have the shoulder blade tilt forward and the whole structure will round forward, and then the shoulder blade will tilt back when they round back. And the whole point of the drill is for us to be able to drive just pure internal and external rotation along the long axis of the joint. So start with a light dumbbell. If you need to scale it, start with a side plank with your knees bent like so. You're here. Have that dumbbell up top, neck in a neutral position, and then we're trying to drive rotation just in the shoulder without getting the shoulder blade involved. It may be helpful to pause for a second or two at in-range rotation, go the opposite direction, and pause for a second or two. And the last compensation that we'll see is people will not rotate through the shoulder at all, and they'll just make it a forearm drill to where their elbow is supinating and pronating. So just be mindful. This is one of those ones you may need to set up your phone and videotape yourself if you don't have access to a mirror for some feedback, so you can see what joints are involved. And then you should just, this should be one that you feel kind of deep in that shoulder joint as you're stimulating everything involved with internal and external rotation.